Now, we've been fortunate enough to play with some interesting shooting vehicles in our time, from Tim Pilbeam's freak of engineering to Ferraris. Today we're in Texas, where they take it to a whole different level. Allow me to introduce you to the Rolls Royce Silver Spur shooting vehicle. Looking like it's been taken off the set of Thunderbirds, this exquisite British-made machine is owned by Fausto and Sandra Yturria.
That sand, so there's some areas in the ranch that we can't take this vehicle.
Fausto is proud of this vehicle and proud that his father-in-law strove to own something as exclusive as a Rolls.
He loved this car. Every time he got in this car, it was nothing but teeth. He had a big smile every time he drove the car. He had finally arrived in the business world.
However, after its transformation into a shooting vehicle, Fausto assumed the Brits would appreciate the new look.
So I walked in and this guy came over with his nose in the air and said, "May I help you, sir?" And I said, "Yes." I said, "I've got a Texas Rolls Royce hunting car and I want to show you these photographs. What do you think of it?" And he kind of turned his nose up in the air and walked away. We were highly insulted, you know, knowing that we could have bought the Rolls Royces that were on that car floor that day. Really made me mad.
A lovely car, makes me feel like Boise. All right, Marlene. Early the next morning, I get a chance to try it out for myself. This is it, the big moment. Let's go and find rabbits and coyotes in a roller. Once on the move, the Silver Spur purrs along beautifully. One thing we have found is the engine, if you turn it off, you know start again. So we're going to be fox shooting on the move, I think, tonight. It doesn't take long to find our first rabbit. This is not a cottontail, but a jack rabbit. After following it in the lamp, I get my chance. This is a considerably larger rabbit than I'm used to, but it's more like a hare size. I think this is what we call a jack. If you have the means, I highly recommend a Rolls Royce for rabbiting. The second rabbit is a few hundred yards further on. This carriage provides a steady old platform to shoot from, no jiggly diesel vibration. We risk the rolls over the rough stuff and bingo, we get onto another rabbit. The first shot parts its ears, the second is true. Well, with a superb piece of engineering from Crewe, Cheshire, we've had 3 rabbits in the bag. It's been a real privilege, actually. Dawn breaks and I find myself in a ranch that's dedicated to wild animals as well as cattle. There are plenty of them. Here's a Native American white-tailed deer looking at all the exotic antelope and thinking to itself, there goes the neighbourhood. Many ranches in South Texas have become a sanctuary for exotic game, as well as exotic motors.
That is not a hunting vehicle. We use this when we're having skeet shoots,
right,
to transport the beautiful women.
The beautiful women, okay. That is a plastic horse.
That is a plastic horse. We don't spend any money on feed for him.
Right.
But I bought him to display saddles.
Okay. Now these two, this looks like we're getting serious.
These are actually both, they were referred to when they were sold in the United States as the Volkswagen Thane. That was called the Thane. Right. In Mexico, they were called the Safari. And these are by Volkswagen. And we customized them. We took the top off. We put gun boxes on them. And we use this for quail hunting. And this was mine. This was a 1973 model. Yep. And I had to buy one for Sandra. This was a 74 model.
It's a very unusual piece of
And we've put a lot of miles on these hunting quail here in South Texas behind bird dogs.
Are we in some kind of toy box here?
Well, you know, every little boy has a toy box. I've got a toy garage.
I still feel there's something missing there. You get really big downpours here, don't you?
Yeah, we do. Not like we used to, but we used to really get flooded out, especially when we had a hurricane. You had to have a vehicle to get you around the ranch after a hurricane, because you'd get 15, 20 inches of rain.
Have you got anything like that?
Have I? Follow me out here. Of the 1,000 Hummers, this is 126. Now, I couldn't get number 1. That was taken by Arnold Schwarzenegger. I mean, he's got to have number 1, right? But I've had a lot of offers for this car just because it's got that stupid number of 126 on it. But it was 126 vehicle manufactured for the public. And I've never had a problem with it. It's obviously built to military specifications. We've never had a problem with it. We have modified it in the back. We can take more people, have picnic baskets and so forth. But I really think that when I bought this in 1991, I think that's when it quit raining. And it hadn't rained since.
All this hardware adds up to a serious side on this 11,000-acre ranch. Like many landowners locally, Fausto and Sandra are going to extraordinary lengths to provide a kind of international wildlife seed bank. These are nilgai antelope, and there are now more of them in Kennedy County, Texas than there are in their native India. These are scimitar oryx. Fausto's cousin, Danny Butler, has the next door ranch. He sees himself as a forward thinker. The oil that part powers and pays for his collection of Ferraris he believes will ultimately dry up. So he's investing in providing sport and an animal resource.
We can pretty much 80% duplicate Africa except for the smell of the Mopani smoke. We have mesquite smoke. It's obvious that Africa's becoming more unstable, and it is becoming very expensive for the average American to hunt over there. So I thought, well, you know, at some point, the oil and gas on our properties, what we're fortunate to have, is going to run out. We need to have something else in place of it. So in 1985, I started bringing in African exotics with the idea of turning this into like a small African landscape.
These ranchers have created something similar to the African safari experience here in America. We go out for a game drive in a more traditional South Texas hunting vehicle, a GMC gun bus with a throbbing 6-litre V8 engine. The animals are here in abundance, and there is a management side to this drive too. Fausto wants at least one of the white-tailed bucks thinned out. Fausto and his friends are all members of a top hunting club. Started in the 1950s by a group of international hunters who wanted to swap ideas about where to go, it has grown into an association of sportsmen and sportswomen with a strong sense of social responsibility.
Most people, you know, think elephants are extinct. They're not. There are huge numbers of elephants in Africa. Some estimated 200,000 or better were in northern Botswana, and they would not migrate into Angola or into Zambia simply because of landmines. Dr. John Hanks of Botswana had a method of using dogs to find landmines, just as the dogs have learned to find drugs. And they would locate the landmines. Dr. Hanks' people would go out and explode or remove those mines, and now we're having elephants migrate back into the areas where they normally did.
But this must have been incredibly costly.
Well, we put about $250,000 into it, maybe a little more, and so that's all beginning to get solved.
What sort of pot fund do you have now to deploy?
We estimate that our funds are up to around $9 million. We spend all of that on wildlife management somewhere in the world.
Meanwhile, Texas is evolving into a mini Africa. What more could you want from a safari? We've seen 2 species of antelope. We've seen bushbuck and American species like white-tailed deer and peccary. And it's sundown. And what do you get at sundown? Sundowners. These Texans are a crazy gang, all out to have a good time, all dedicated to saving animals worldwide, as well as hunting them. Take Born Free, pop in the gadget show, and a bit of spaghetti western, and you get the picture. Oh, and don't forget Top Gear.